Hi, this is Jason Holland with International Living. I'm the roving Latin America editor, and I'm coming to you from Parque Juarez, which is in the heart of the historic centro of San Miguel de Allende, which is a Spanish colonial town in the highlands of central Mexico, about 4 hours north of Mexico City, which of course is the capital of Mexico. So, San Miguel has gotten a lot of press lately. It's been named the best small city in the world by publications like Condé Nast Traveler and Travel and Leisure for the past several years in a row. It's gotten a lot of attention, and for good reason. San Miguel has a great art scene. It has a vibrant traditional culture, a vibrant traditional Mexican culture. We have live music, we have art galleries, we have museums, we have performance art, we have all sorts of stuff going on. And of course we have beautiful surroundings. We have parks like this, green spaces like Parque Juarez, where I am right now. We have a meticulously restored UNESCO World Heritage Spanish colonial center of town. So you have these buildings that have been around for hundreds of years, and they've been repurposed into homes, businesses, restaurants, cafes, and shops. It's really kind of like walking in a museum in a lot of ways, but yet it is still a very active and vibrant town. This is not a museum where you can't touch anything, where everything is hands off. This town is very much alive. You can walk everywhere, and like I said, these historic buildings have been repurposed into modern homes and that sort of thing. The only rule is you can't tear stuff down and build something new. You can't have big, huge billboards or neon signs or anything like that. So it's a very beautiful place. Now, San Miguel does get some attention that is, let's say, unwanted. Some people, expats in other parts of Mexico or people in the United States, they don't want to come to San Miguel. They don't want to live in San Miguel because they say it's too touristy. It's too much of an expat haven. Some have even disparaged it as kind of like the Disneyland of Mexico. Now, it's true. There is a huge expat influence here, and that's because 10% of the population of 140,000 is said to be full-time or part-time expats, and we're talking about people from the United States and Canada primarily, but also Europe, Asia, Africa, pretty much Europe, of course. All around the world we have expats coming to San Miguel, as well as international tourism too. Now, I say it's not a bad thing. I think that San Miguel still retains its traditional culture. It's still very much a Mexican town, and there is an expat influence, but I think that the two sides, we all kind of get together. We're a welcoming group. We welcome new expats into the community. I think my Mexican neighbors are very friendly, and we all get along very well, and I think there's a lot of collaboration in town. There's not two separate communities. I think everybody's kind of melded together in San Miguel. So that's one thing. And the other thing is that people who say that San Miguel is kind of like a Disneyland, they're kind of ignoring the history of this town. The expat population goes back to the 1940s and 50s when people who were coming back, veterans coming back from World War II, discovered that the GI Bill would pay for them to take art classes and Spanish classes in San Miguel. So they started coming to the town. Then the beatniks came and the hippies in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. The 80s and 90s, more and more people started to come. People started to retire here. We have a lot of families here too who are raising their kids in San Miguel as well. They're drawn because of that beautiful historic colonial architecture, the temperate climates, the vibrant art scene, yet it still has that traditional Mexican culture. So still very much a Mexican town with admittedly a pretty big expat influence. Now, since I've been here since 2015 was when I first visited San Miguel. I've lived here since 2017. I have seen some changes. Better infrastructure. They're doing a lot of new road projects on the outskirts of town, which makes getting around a lot easier. We have better quality internet for sure. We get fiber optic cable throughout town right now. We just installed some in my house. We got 200 megabytes of internet for about $50 per month, and it's very reliable. I'd also say that we have better shopping options here as well. We have a lot of chain stores like Office Depot. We have a large Mexican department store called Liverpool. We have large supermarkets, we have gourmet markets. So pretty much anything you need you can find in San Miguel. Well-stocked hardware stores, electronic stores. So when you're looking for a printer cable, or you're looking for a certain type of nail you need for a home renovation project, or you need replacement cable for your iPhone or something like that, you can find it in San Miguel. You can also get good medical care here. We have several hospitals and clinics in town that have a lot of specialist doctors. You can have surgery in San Miguel. So I think overall there's been a lot of improvements. There has been some Also some construction in town. There's a lot of condos and townhouse and gated communities going up in and around the edges of town, not in the historic centro, because as I mentioned, you can't tear stuff down here. You do have to keep the historic centro as it is, but on the outskirts of town you have more modern developments. And if you think that's because of the expat population, you're wrong. This is actually driven by the Mexican market, because San Miguel is not just a popular international tourist destination, it's also a very popular national tourist destination. San Miguel is a destination wedding hotspot for Mexican families from larger cities like Querétaro, Mexico City, Monterrey, and Guadalajara. People come from all over Mexico to come to San Miguel to have weddings here. It's also a popular spot for weekend getaways. We have a ton of hotels and boutique hotels around the city. It's just a vacation spot. When there's a school holiday or some sort of national holiday, San Miguel fills up because it is kind of in the cradle of Mexico, in the center of Mexico, so it's easy to get to. It's also a very historic city in Mexican history. This is kind of the cradle of the independence movement from Spain when it was still a colony back in the day. So a lot of historic events happened in San Miguel, in and around this area. So a lot of people come here because of that reason. We have great celebrations here for Mexican Independence Day, for example. And the surrounding countryside is beautiful, it's mountainous, lots of activities like hiking and biking and horseback riding. We have a wine country here where you can take winery tours. There's lots of stuff to do in San Miguel. And that's kind of why we had that new construction on the outskirts of town, because Mexicans who want to have a second home in San Miguel are buying these condos and the townhomes and these homes and gated communities on the outskirts of town, so they have a place to go for the weekend or over the Christmas holidays or over school holidays or something like that. So, I think this new development is, I have mixed feelings about it, because this is a cool place to live. I came here, I can't close the gate and lock it behind me. If other people discover San Miguel and want to visit or want to live here, who am I to stop them? And I think the new development, the new infrastructure, the new amenities make life easier here. And yet, as I mentioned, as I've said again and again, despite all these modern conveniences, what makes San Miguel special, which is the people, the traditional celebrations, that vibrant Mexican culture, that's welcoming expat community that has really attempted to speak Spanish, to learn local customs, to really integrate into the local neighborhoods and communities, that's still here. And I think what makes San Miguel special is definitely still here despite all the changes, and I truly do enjoy living here. So if you ever get a chance, let's come on down to Mexico, and we'll welcome you with open arms, and be sure to look me up. Maybe we can go have a coffee or something. Thanks. If you're intrigued by the ideas I've been talking about here, then you should know that I and the rest of the International Living team have put together a whole library of resources about Mexico and other Latin American options you have for good living abroad. For starters, I recommend you click here below to request a free report on Mexico. Inside, you'll find all sorts of useful guidance that'll help you take the next step toward your overseas dream in a place that's not too far from home and offers excellent bang for your buck. Click below now to claim your free report.